Welcome to a conversation with Cathy Pickavance and team members from the robotics team. I am Mike Dudas from the Anita Martini radio studio at KTOR. Hello, Ms. Pickavance.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. I am so excited about featuring robotics on this particular conversation episode. When you think of marquee programs at Ball High School, robotics is always right at the top. So I guess to get things started, why don't you just kind of briefly tell us what is robotics?
Well, I'm going to let Alejandro explain that. He's been in the program even longer than me. He started this in middle school. So he's our longest member of robotics.
The veteran, right?
Yes.
So
okay, all right.
Robotics that we do VEX, and it's competitively based. Every year we get a new game, we get a new problem, a new challenge that we need to solve. And we build a robot that competes against other robots in a 2 versus 2 fashion to see the one that can score the most points. This year it's balls, and we get to put them in goals, kind of like
it's like a 3-dimensional tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, because you get to like make rows. There's 9 goals, and you get to put balls in them. And if you own the top ball, it's your goal. So you get to play tic-tac-toe against other people, and they're constantly getting cycled, and it's constantly fast-paced. And again, the game changes every year. So last year we had cubes, and we had to stack towers that were as tall as me and like 12 cubes high. And then the year before that, we had to make catapults and punchers to shoot down flags, and it's a lot of fun.
So you have to build robotics that are robots that are capable of doing those particular things, correct?
Yeah.
Ms. Pickavance, what is the benefits of students joining the robotics program? Why would a student want to do this, and how would they use this in their life after school?
So it's part of the STEM family, so they can use these credits to graduate. The competitive classes getting bumped to 5.0 classes, which really helps with your GPA and getting into school and all of that. But after school and after everything's done and said, the robots that go along the pipelines and to detect leaks and everything, their programming skills and their building skills are so much more complicated and detailed and complex than what they're doing for that. My kids could way outperform anybody who has that current job working in the gas field. There's so many different areas as far as computer science that the kids could go into if they're interested in programming, C++ or Java. The languages can kind of get them several different jobs as long as they're fluent in those. The mechanical aspects have been really good as far as they could do underwater robots, which is convenient for where we're located and working on the island. Have y'all looked into colleges?
Yeah.
We competed against LSU, A&M, and University of Tennessee. They competed in a competition alongside us. We were actually in the high school division. And their programming skills score actually outbeat all the colleges and universities. So they're already over that level.
In the robotics program, it's obviously a very hands-on program where the students have to build the robots, manipulate things. Ms. Pickavance, at the beginning of the school year, and I guess when the plug was pulled on us last spring, how did you keep your program going on without really seeing a lot of kids face to face?
Well, we usually last year we had teams of like 4 or 5. I think we even had one team with 7 kids. So they were really big teams, and we had a lot of help and support. This year, because we didn't know how it was going to look, all the kids have their individual robots. So for example, the kids behind me would represent one team in a typical school year. So you'd have a builder, a programmer, a driver, someone to document the engineering process. We don't have all that this year. This year, each person is essentially their own team. So this is literally 400Y, 400Z, and 400B. And that's kind of how it unfortunately had to work, but it made the kids so much stronger because they're having to do everything on their own.
And along with everything else this year, you've been able to participate in competition, and from what I understand, have done very well.
Yes, so because we have so many more teams, we actually have more teams than any program in the state right now, and possibly our whole area, including Louisiana. Because of this, because we've had to register the teams individually. So we actually, instead of having one team that qualified for Worlds last year, this year we have 4 teams that will participate in Worlds. So.
And this year, how is Worlds going to look? Because obviously, you're not having hundreds and hundreds of kids coming together in one location.
No, we're doing a mock-up on the 6th, which will be a smaller tournament where we'll have our 4 teams, this one and these 3 teams, and then one other team. And they'll compete. They'll each have their own field and their own screen. And they'll be competing against all sorts of different places. South Korea, we have Oregon, Canada, California, New Jersey, West Virginia. They'll be participating against a bunch of people on the 6th as like a practice run. And the fields, instead of having one field that 4 teams play on, we'll have one field for each team, and it'll be stacked in different layers.
And describe what's going to go on, because you're having a big setup in our gym area.
We will have a big setup in the gym area. We'll have all of our teams set up. We hope to invite some of our elementary feeder schools that we've been mentoring. The kids back, all of the kids have been mentoring Oppie's kids, which also qualified for Worlds. So we're hoping to invite them in to come see. If not, we'll at least get a good Zoom meeting set up so they can watch it virtually and still be part of all the fun. We'll be interacting. Everyone will have their own screen. So essentially, if you have 4 fields, which are our 4 teams, and then we also, each one of them are playing 3, we could have up to 12 different countries in our gym at a time, which is really neat. So that's kind of cool.
And I guess go into a little bit more about the actual setup, because you're going to have screens and cameras on a pole, which has to be a certain height.
Yes, so the fields will be elevated between 2 to 3 feet. We've collaborated with the construction trades classroom to build and elevate our fields for us, which has been really nice. We have another teacher who's volunteered and jumped on to collaborate and stream it on Twitch. And then we have you yourself, which we've kind of drug into it and asked to borrow some camera equipment and all of that good stuff. So it will be a very elaborate setup. We'll have 4 large scale monitors and hopefully about 8 cameras on each field, aerial view of the field possibly for the spectators. And then our fields will actually be played at an angle, which is kind of unique. All of the goals will be labeled so that our fields line up. It's going to be an event to set up in its own.
And as a teacher and a leader of the program, how proud are you that your students are doing so well?
It's fun. I try not to let their egos get too big, but sometimes they do. I usually am the first one to knock them down when I notice their egos are getting a little bit too big. But they have so much fun doing it. And I think that's one of the best parts of the program. You have to have fun in order for them to participate. And we definitely have our share of fun. So I think that's why it's been such a success this year.
I like to go around and ask the guys, what do they like most about the program? It's whoever wants to jump in first.
The thing that I love most about the program would probably have to be the problem solving aspect of it. I built this, it kind of works, but doesn't work to the level or efficiency that I want it to work, where I can see it working a little different way or a little better, and then switching it up, trying something new, going through that engineering design process over and over and over again until you get something that you're comfortable with, that you want to compete with, and you want to show off to all the other teams in the area.
For me, it's the aspect of learning new things. With each year, you're having to create a robot that's completely different from your previous robot. So you're learning things at a skill that you aren't able to in other classes because you have first hands-on experience. You have to solve this issue. So you have to learn things that will help you solve that current issue.
One thing that I like about it is the community it brings together. Like the amount of time we spend together on Fridays, we are here 8 hours a day. Other schools like Pasadena, Clear Creek, how we talk to them sometimes to solve problems. It just brings the whole community together.
We talked a little bit about problem solving. Guys, what is the most challenging part of this whole process?
The most challenging part, it probably has to be the time consumption. I mean, we're in here way too much. We're in here, you know, every day because we have it double blocked. So we're in here at least 2 hours a day. On Friday, we're in here 8 hours, and sometimes we're in here on Saturdays working. So that consistent dedication of putting our time in and to working to have something that we're proud of and something that we want to compete in and show to other people. Yeah.
I'd have to say the scheduling, hauling them around. Their schedule is so busy. I am a mom of 5 kids, and I thought their schedule is crazy, but these guys, their schedule is even more bizarre. They have competitions every Saturday. We'll be here and again, to jump off what Alejandro just said, we'll be here at 5:30 on a Saturday and not get home till 10. So it's definitely a big commitment.
And guys, tell me a little bit about your teacher. Tell me how cool Miss Pickavance is.
It's okay, I guess.
Ms. Pickavance is really hardworking. She's here whenever we need a problem solved. She's here. She's set up these LRTs, the live remote tournaments, within little notice, just to get all of us qualified for Worlds and be able to participate.
Whatever we needed, it doesn't matter how crazy it was or how big the field was. I mean, we got these boxes shipped in yesterday because we needed more fields, and it was like same day shipping. She got it done, and she works incredibly hard to get us what we need to succeed.
She really cares about like what we do. Like if we care, she'll care. If we want to get something done, she'll help us get it done. It means a lot to us.
It's tough because they work so hard, so you never get the option to slack off, because as a teacher, you feel very guilty if your students start working harder than you.
Exactly. And I know they're literally your second family.
They really are.
You probably sometimes feel like you're around them more than your own family.
I might be. My family's starting to become part of this.
To end our conversation, I wanted to bring up the boxes behind you. Cathy, you were telling me that came from Texas City, correct?
So Worlds is so different. So this year we have different requirements than we would for a normal year. A normal field would allow 4 teams to play on it. And it is a good thing, but it was a surprise that we were going to have 4 teams participating in Worlds this year. And we had very little notice to order fields or bring fields in. And we were also unable to participate in our live remote tournaments because we didn't have a facility large enough to house all 4 teams. So we have been so fortunate to have the support from Texas City ISD. They came and brought us a ton of equipment for 2 extra fields, perimeters and mats and all sorts of good stuff. And then Clear Creek ISD additionally has been amazing in letting us use their facilities so we can participate in a live remote tournament in order to get all these guys eligible. They have to participate in 2 prior to being allowed to even participate in Worlds. Even after qualifying, despite being state champions and everything, they still have to participate in the live remote. So Clear Creek ISD has handed us their facilities and said, here you go. And Texas City came and brought us fields. So it's really been a big collaboration, and it's neat to have everyone's support.
That is so cool to have the support of your neighboring and sometimes competing school districts. So it's nice we can all be friends and work together and pull together. And why we do it for the kids.
They truly have some of the best sportsmanship. It's really neat for the kids to get to see that.
All right, Ms. Pickavance and team, much good luck in the next week or so. And please check in with us again. And we'll send all of our best thoughts and well wishes your way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.